listings are starting to take longer to sell across the country. And what we're seeing is this listing inventory start to spread, and it does spread. And it started with the COVID states like the Texas, the Floridas, the Tennessees, and we've seen it start to stretch into other states. Now more than half the states are there, and in all likelihood, it will continue to spread. It is very hard to stop supply, gang. It takes years to stop supply. It takes 5 years to get a development into ground, things like that. So it's very hard to hit the brakes, especially when you have a lot of debt service on it. And some of those states like Texas, Florida, Tennessee, it's going to be years before they turn around. And you'll see most states have the similar problem once it gets to those areas. So it does spread, even though it's unimaginable that there's not enough inventory right now. Interest rates are just demand centric. So honestly, don't be hoping for interest rates. Interest rates don't come down like 3 percentage points all at once. They come down slowly. And when they do, people just keep waiting for them to keep coming down. So don't think that you're going to get bailed out by a market. There are other ways it could happen. But boy, if you're banking on that and you are not shifting, it's going to be very hard. So what I want people to understand is there is a reason why I am constantly touting the admin support of ICT's administrative teams. Okay, we have an administrative system that we coach all our clients on. And that does not involve a bunch of VA transaction coordinators that just handle listing contract and contract to close. And there's no marketing activity in there. It does not involve just having a TC that you pay per file because you're afraid to bear the expense of paying an admin every 2 weeks. And quite frankly, the tide has gone out, and we're going to see who's skinny dipping in this market right now. Because if you did not run a real estate team in 2007 and 8, you're going to see why I'm saying this. Okay, because when we start moving closer to a buyer's market and listings start sitting on the market longer, you're going to start to feel the stress and the need of admin support to proactively and preemptively stop that stress. Because if you're just constantly getting calls from your sellers and you're constantly trying to script and dialogue your way to overcome their objections and alleviate your fears, you're already dead. You're already dead. Like everything else, this has to be solved beforehand. Okay? Stop looking for little solutions to calm them down. You may think you've calmed them down, but you haven't. And you're going to start seeing listings expire. You're going to start getting fired. Even if you sell their house, they're talking about you behind your back. Trust me, people are generally speaking diplomatic with you. They always tell you what you want to hear, but understand they're not saying that when you're not around. Okay? If they are upset and they are calling you and blaming you, you have not informed your clients about how the real estate process works. And you are not keeping them informed. You are not reminding them over time. Okay? Understand that we are real estate agents. We don't sell our listings. It is not up to us to hurry up and make that listing sell. You don't have that power. You're not selling a bag of salted peanuts on the freeway or a bag of oranges. Okay? You're not like out there hustling with a flag out in front. It doesn't work. Our job is to expose the property, to get maximum exposure. Because the more people that see the property that are looking, increases the likelihood that we're going to get more showings. Okay? And if we get more showings, the increased likelihood of getting more offers. The more offers we get, the increase the likelihood of a higher price and a higher net proceeds. So it's all about exposure. Okay? And it starts with exposure. That's the only thing we can control. After that, if we get the maximum exposure, guys, it's either price or patience. And that's it. Either that price is too high. Why isn't anybody showing my house? I don't know. We're getting a record number of online views. No one has chosen to see your house. I'm assuming that your photos are good, right? At a very minimum level, we have to put the house in its best light out there. Also, they must know in the listing appointment that we don't market to the general public nearly as much as we must market to other agents. 90% of home buyers use an agent to buy a home. And the other 5% are buying from builders directly, and a tiny sliver of that's going FSBO. But for the most part, we're marketing to agents. So understand that if we are putting it in the MLS and it's going on all these listing websites and we have it accurately displayed on all of our major listing portals like Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, etc., we must be able to communicate. That's where it starts and stops for us. We know we've got a price problem after a period that we call the magic month. In that first month, if we aren't getting a good amount of showings and even an offer, we got problems, because that's when you get the maximum exposure. That's when the listing first hits all the online websites. And when it first hits all the online websites, you're going to see, as long as your admin is looking, because if your admin isn't looking and maybe you don't have an admin and you don't sell a lot of houses, that's fine. Then you can do this yourself. But you're going to need to go and track those online views every week for each listing. And then you're going to need to communicate those every single week to your agents. And I'm going to show you how. Because you need to go look at the MLS website. How many agent views? How many public views? Go look at Zillow. How many public views? Go look at homes.com. How many portal views you getting there? How many on realtor.com? Successful admin teams are already doing this. That's why the big teams provide a higher level of customer service than the small ones. They have more people, they have more profit, and therefore they can actually devote a higher percentage of their GCI. You think customer service means you're there for your clients personally, which is, I guess, the mindset before the Industrial Revolution. Before we thought, oh, we can actually use the economies of scale to leverage and do more things for our clients. But no, it's about your ego. You want to provide everything yourself, then do it. If it's too much work for you, then you are running up against the economies of scale issue that many people ran into in the Industrial Revolution. It's just business knowledge, guys. It's 2 + 2 = 4. Stop trying to tell us it equals 3 and 5. And if you have a bigger team, then you need to be doing this. Your admin needs to be the strength. And I'm telling you, we have the strongest admin system teams in the world at ICT. We've always believed in this. Now, yes, when listings were selling very quickly, they didn't have time to do all this stuff to show their wares and flex their muscles, but now they do. And they're coming for you and your market share if you don't have this. Okay, we have admin coaches, we have admin masterminds, and these people provide a high level. If you see some teams increasing right now, what you can't see, it's their admin support. And admin does not get a fair shake. They really don't. They just think it's all about your social media posts you do, because that's the only thing you can see that they do. You can't see what they're really doing to provide a higher level of customer service and generate more listings off their listings. So we're going to talk about how that looks and how they do it. Okay. So up front, we want to explain these talking points in that listing appointment so they realize our job is to expose. My silver tongue is not going to make anybody come buy your house. Okay. Just like it would never make you buy your next house. At best, I'm going to humble myself and try to kill the ego. I'm going to open the door. You're going to go in there. It's not going to be what I say that makes you buy it. If you have questions, I'll get answers to them or I'll answer them. But it's not going to be something I do. So please don't expect me to be able to do the same with you. My job is to provide you with all the information you need. And it may not be what you want to hear, but I want to show that to you now. But what I will do is get you the most exposure, because that's what really sells homes. Okay. And I'm going to show you that. And here's how we're going to do it. So that's very crucial, that we're always communicating what we're doing in advance and we're communicating the results of it. Okay. So what ends up happening, and I'll tell them what my listing manager is going to do, or what my admins are going to do, or if I'm a solo agent, it's what I'm going to do. Every single Thursday, you are going to get an email from one of the above that's going to provide you with all the information I just told you about, because I want to put you in charge of this listing and I want you to be involved in the strategy, because we don't just set it and forget it and put that sign in the front yard and pray that someone comes. We are working a strategy the entire time. Okay. And that's how we've had so much success. And we're the #1 team in your area. We work harder and people just can't see it. You're going to see it. See the confidence I'm talking with? See how I'm aggressive? I'm coming at you. Why? Because that's what they want on the marketing side. They don't want a soft, tender people pleaser that's just there for your customer service. Not in this market, they don't. That's what listings wanted when it was easy to sell listings. Now it's hard. They want to know what you're going to do to get their home sold. They want to know that. So you got to get them and say that we're aggressive. They don't want passive. They don't want quiet. USs, UCs, get it up. You got to bring it now, because that's what they want now. It's actually time for a realtor to show what they do to get homes sold. And what we do is market. We don't just talk. Okay, so we have to show it. And in that email, you're going to get every single Thursday, it's going to show you the online views. And you're going to see the magic month occur, where you're going to see a lot of views in that magic month. But if we don't have a significant amount of showings and offers by the end of it, you're going to start to see the next month, those views would stay very low otherwise, which means we have no exposure. And when we have no exposure, that means the likelihood of getting offers and showings is just dropping dramatically. Okay? So when that happens, we've got a problem with price, and we're going to need to talk again about our pricing strategy. We tried it, but then we moved there. Okay? So you must know that this is coming. All right? So it's coming, but hopefully we hit it in the magic month, because if we can hit it in the magic month, we still have a chance of getting multiple offers and driving terms up and getting a price below asking, getting higher than you expect net proceeds. But the key is timing in this market. The only other exception is that, other than price, is patience. If we have a unique property, it's priced extremely high compared to the market. Maybe it deserves it. We need to be patient. There's not as many of those buyers. A unique property, a horse property or something like that, a country property with lots of land or crops on it or something like that, or it's just unique, a unique buyer will like it for whatever reason, we're going to have patience, and that will take longer. But the bulk of homes sold do not require patience. They require accurate pricing. Because I'll tell you right now, if you price it too high and it sits for a long time and it stagnates, guess what? You now have a scarlet letter. Okay. And that scarlet letter is saying, what is wrong with that house? Why did no one want it? Now you got to do big reductions, because it has been, you've already tested the market. No one wanted it. Why would I want it if no one wants that house? Why would I want it? And that's what ends up happening, right? So we always want to prevent that at all costs, because when that happens, it becomes blackballed just by the public, by agents. Everybody thinks, man, no one wanted that. If you do get an offer, you're not going to like it. They're going to expect you to have learned what happened. So these conversations must happen in the listing appointment. They must happen up front to set up what's coming next, okay? Then what's going to happen, now our admin clients don't send this out, but this is a tool we use with our admin team called a weekly activity listing report. And it's in our admin systems course too. And the admin goes in, or it could be you if you're a solo agent doing it yourself. And this is actually what provides the information that we're going to put in to our weekly email on Thursday. Oh yeah, FYI, I want to stop there. The reason we send it on Thursday is so you don't get calls from them all weekend long and disrupting your life. We send it out on Thursday. We send that email. The listing manager also calls and says, hey, I just want you to check your email. We did send our weekly listing email to you. And as it went out to you, you'll see on there, if you have any questions, call me. Otherwise, the email is pretty self-explanatory. And the listing manager handles that call, not the agent. Okay, not the agent. Just like a dentist, we have to trust our hygienists to do their job, and we have to train them to if they don't know how. And if you don't have that type of person, you have the wrong person in the role. They don't have enough talent. So if you got a VA in the Philippines, this is when the tide goes out and we can see who's skinny dipping, right? But if you have a good listing manager, it'll work. And trust me, in this market, you're going to need that type of support. Okay. So what ends up happening is they're going to have that call, but you're going to see most of the time you don't have to call. You might have to have the call the first time, but they're going to start learning how to read this email. Now, this report, they're not going to receive. This is just to collect the data, keep it in the property file, and that way the admin can go back to it and add to it when they do this research to fill it out. And it seems like a lot, but it actually starts to move very quickly. Now, I'm going to go back and show you what it says, okay? So the first thing that they're going to collect in here is they're going to look at our marketing exposure total. So they're going to go on things like MLS, Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, maybe their company website, brokerage website, any other place they're seeing a lot of views, maybe the top ones, because certain sites get different views for different people who have their listings syndicated in different ways by different MLSs. So we're going to go on there and try to pull the number of views, right? And the views are distributed right here, and you'll see they always start off high and they tend to just drop over time as the listing stagnates on the market publicly, right? We're also going to track the number of showings each week, the number of open houses we have, social media posts, number of mailers, prospecting calls. Again, you can take some of this away if you don't want to put all those marketing materials. Maybe you don't have the ability to do prospecting calls, or you don't want to, or you don't have the money to do mailers, you don't want to. Just delete those parts. You don't need them. I just tend to be over-inclusive because I think it's easier to take information away than it is to think it up and create it yourself. Okay, but I definitely want online views and showings on here. Okay. Then we're going to move down to showing feedback. Any showing feedback, usually you guys have centralized showing services or showing time or some place that asks for feedback. We want to start getting it now. I know we haven't cared about that in a long time, but now we want to start getting feedback. At least try hard to get it. Agents will once again, just like before in the last buyer's market, start realizing they must give to get. What goes around comes around. Okay, so try to give some feedback. It takes 10 seconds. Try to always get feedback. You don't have time for that yourself because you're a solo agent. However, admins do. Okay, and guess why? Clients want it. They get done with your team, they'll say, man, I've had a lot of agents and I really like them, but I've never been able to get feedback. I've never been able to get reporting on online views. I've never seen any of this data. Never seen any of it. It's so rare to have a team that actually gives clients what they really want other than their glorious selves on the phone, right? So understanding that's how it works. Every agent, every date, feedback for each week. Okay. Again, we're going to list the online views from each lead source down here. And if you got any random place, anything else like I put on here in this example, Home Lifestyles Magazine, put it on the broker agent home tour or caravan if you have that. It's just a miscellaneous place to put it on there. Remember the NAR guidelines around price reduction too. It's always good to put this up front in the listing appointment and explain it because this is pretty darn true. If there are no showings in the first 7 to 10 days, we know we're probably overpriced 5 to 10%. After 10 to 12 showings and we have no offers, consider a 3 to 5% reduction. So this is the amount of the reduction at the end of the magic month. Anything thereafter, consider a 1 to 3% price reduction until you find the market value. So when that happens, understand those are NAR showing guidelines. They've been in place for a long time and they actually are pretty much true. That's the amount of the reduction. I like to say that right up front. And boy, they're going to have to slow 5 to 10% reduction, but at least plant the seed. I doubt you'll get it, but at least you'll get them closer to what they need to do to get their home sold and on with their life. Okay? Then we go to the listing and closing checklists, okay? Usually we have listing and closing checklists, certainly should. Listing to contract and then contract to close. And your admins are managing that. They're working down the files, every file, every day. They're trying to make sure we move down the tasks every single day on each property that's under contract. So we just look at what we did last week on the listing and closing checklist, copy and paste, throw it here. Then we look at what we have to do next on the checklist that's coming up, copy and paste, throw it here. Okay. This happens to be a property that is still in the listing stages with no offers on it. So the only thing you can put here is marketing stuff. Okay. But when you're under contract, you're going to have a lot of inspections and stuff. So your key dates and deadlines, we always want to remind them of when closing's happening, when inspections are happening, or on the listing side, before we get an offer, when open houses are happening, when flyers are going out, when social media posts are going out. Always show them everything you do. Don't just do it and expect they see it. Report back, here's what we're doing. And again, the vast majority of what we're doing is right up here on online views. That's the most of what we're doing. This is just to show them some activity. The bigger the team, the more posts are going to go out. You can have 15 agents on the team, all post a just listed reel. That's a big deal, right? Sending emails out to all the agents in the database. That's a big deal. Why? Because we can put it here. Does it work? I don't know. Everything works a little bit. But the point is we're showing our work and they're showing that their cousin who's a solo agent could never do all this work and certainly not even communicate with us every single Thursday. And when they receive this information Thursday, what else are they going to ask? Like what else you want to know? The only thing they might want to know is whether we should reduce now or not. We're nervous. We got to get moved. We saw another house we want. So you'll start to see them calling you for price reductions, not you having to set price reduction appointments. So the point of using that tool, again, that's just to collect the data and keep it in the property file. They're going to have a standard form email that makes it a little bit prettier, that has that data contained in it, usually with bullet points and things like that for the data. And then a few paragraphs, you just send it over and over again to every single client forever. You just write it once, it's done. All of our teams have their own forms done and it goes out there every single week and then you're calling on it, right? And your admins, your listing manager's calling and you'll see, you send that out on a Thursday every week, you'll stop getting those panic emails on Saturday or Friday night or Sunday night, wreck your whole weekend. And you're starting to be proactive. They start to see it's not your fault, it's the market's. They start to see that. You're doing everything you can. Man, just in the first month, we got exposed to over 1,500 people. It's crazy. All of a sudden, wow, See, we didn't used to have time to show how good we were before. Now we do. This is where teams can really show the strength of a team. It's where good solo agents that are actually going to put in time for customer service on behalf of their clients really can show they are different. It's where all the loosey-goosey, quick-talking, hard-selling, great scripting agents struggle because they don't have systems in place. They just expect their mouths to do all the work. So they struggle. And guess what? Agents flock to teams that have this type of admin support. So good teams grow that have strong admin support because they see they could never do this on their own. So those type of teams grow, and they don't leave because they don't want to do this on their own, because those agents know what their admin team is doing for them. Those admin teams are praised. They are loved. They are a part of the family because they flex their muscles. And now's the market when they show how hard they work. So we must keep our clients informed. We must keep them updated. Finally, a market where we can show and differentiate by our customer service and the level of value we provide to our agents and our clients can be seen. So all we got to do is get in charge, get proactive, get up front, and let's keep our listings informed and make sure they understand we're doing everything we can. It's the market speaking, not you.